Well, schools across the country are almost back in session, and the fears of college protest encampments and anti-Semitism are only growing, especially after news of the Columbia president, Minouche Shafik, resigning ahead of the new school year, and the tensions rising at the DNC.
So for more, let's welcome in New York Congressman Mike Lawler. Good morning, Congressman.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Doing well. Thanks for being here. You've been calling for the resignation of Shafik ever since her hearing on Capitol Hill way back in April. What precedent does her resigning set for the new semester coming up on September 3rd? I think they get started. This was very close to the start of the year.
Well, this was long overdue. She should have resigned immediately during the height of those protests. Back in April and May. I had gone to Columbia University with Speaker Johnson and demanded her resignation on the steps of the university after meeting with her and in speaking directly to those students that were engaged in an abomination, engaged in anti-Semitic protests, making it unsafe for Jewish students on the campus. As we said to her at the time, your number one responsibility is to ensure the safety and well-being of those students. And she failed in that responsibility. So this resignation was long overdue. But I think one of the things that has been extremely frustrating throughout this entire situation across the country has been the failure of Chuck Schumer to act. The Senate Majority Leader from New York, the highest ranking Jewish official in American history, has been sitting on my bill, the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act, for months. This bill passed overwhelmingly, 320 to 91 in the House. It would have over 75 votes in the Senate. And what it would do is codify President Trump's executive order from 2019 into law, requiring the Department of Education to use the IRA working definition of anti-Semitism for all Title VI violations of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. And that's what we've seen on these college campuses with this rank anti-Semitism that these universities have failed to act on. And as we approach the new school year, my concern is that these protests are only going to, return once again. The conflict in the Middle East is growing, not getting better. And so my concern is you're going to see these anti-Semitic protests again, and these universities have done nothing to prepare for it.
And to your point, the protest groups, they do plan to return in full force. NPR writing this article, talking to a Columbia University junior who's arrested twice for protesting. Her saying, quote, "We are not going to just be copying encampment. We will be doing whatever actions we choose, escalations if that's necessary. We will do what is necessary." How concerning is it for the Jewish students going back to this hostile environment?
I think they should be very concerned, but I think these universities have a responsibility to crack down on it immediately. And any university that fails to enforce the law and fails to ensure the safety and well-being of these students should be held accountable, including losing federal dollars. And so Speaker Johnson has, opened a multi-committee investigation into these anti-Semitic protests. And my hope is that serious legislation is passed holding these colleges and universities accountable, starting with the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act through the Senate.
We'll see if Schumer does something about that. Congressman Mike Lawler, thank you so much for coming on here and shedding some light on this issue.
Thank you.